Good.
Here we go.
How long are you in Manila for?
How long I have been in Manila for?
No, how long? Yeah. Don't you usually go to Switzerland?
No, I was just in Switzerland because I visited the place a couple of
Oh,
months ago.
okay.
Okay, let me mute the live cast on the other side here. Let me
Okay.
see. Okay,
All right, let me just
here we
say
go.
hi. Hey, you guys. How are you all doing today? Today was a rainy day today. It was all day long, just raining, raining. But it stopped raining, and then around 15 minutes ago, it was just having a big downpour. So it was kind of crappy day. Um, yeah, got laundry done. My my cousin, they went up towards Nashville today. Um, they gotta go shopping at the big stores there. We don't have that many big stores where we live here in Kentucky, but we live in the southern part of Kentucky, and I was not that great. But over in Nashville, that's a nice place. That's a real nice place to go shopping, to do everything really.
When you say Nashville, is that Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah, we only live around maybe an hour and a half out of Nashville, but it's on the other. It's in Kentucky, but it's not too far away.
Ah, I see, I see. Because Nashville is very famous for its country music, right? I mean, all the recording studios are located in that area, and Kentucky is famous for its Kentucky Fried Chicken, right?
Yeah, Colonel Sanders he founded Kentucky Fried Chicken. Also, what Fort Knox is in Kentucky.
Ah, all the gold bars are there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's at Fort Knox military base, but that's all. That's
Okay, yeah.
in Kentucky.
So now I have a short question. I saw a couple of vlogs on your channel, and it seems that that's the place where you live, right? It looks kind of like a golf course to me, and in front of your house there's a lake,
Well,
and
that's
everything
my
is green,
backyard.
and that's your
Yeah,
backyard.
the
Okay, yeah.
front
What kind
yard
of place is that?
looks the same thing without the lake because it's all yeah it's all beautiful hills and everything. It's a beautiful place. That the place that we live at. The house belongs to my aunt and my uncle and my cousin, but
Hmm.
they are nice enough to let me stay here. I have it's a 3-story house. One side is like the mother-in-law's house, and the other side is my cousin's family.
So is this
So
like
like
kind of like an ancestral home or something like that? Your family has been there
no,
for several generations already,
oh
or is
no,
just
this no they just we just moved here um last summer.
Oh, I see, I see.
We
But
my
you have neighbors there. It doesn't look like as it looks kind of like as if you're living in a
no
Jurassic Park or
there's
something.
neighbors everywhere. Like all along the lake. There's
Ah,
like
I see.
big big beautiful mansions and stuff. See, my aunt, my uncle, they used to live in Utah, and my aunt, and my uncle both retired last year, and my cousin said they want to find a place out here in Kentucky because the cost of living is so cheap here, and the real estate is like they're almost like giving the houses away. So they
What do
found
you mean by that? What do you mean by that? By giving the houses away?
oh
Because that's an interesting point.
okay, well,
What?
it's so inexpensive that compared to like other places, because the
Uh,
house that we live in, we got 4.5 acres with a huge big house, and in Utah the same house and everything would have cost like in the millions of
Hmm.
dollars, and
Hmm.
here it was like real cheap, only like maybe 300,000 that they're making payments on.
Is there a reason for that? I mean, is there a reason for this big, huge price difference?
Well, there's not that many people living in Kentucky at this southern part of Kentucky,
Oh, I see.
and there's just not a whole bunch of people. So and plus, remember when we had to like everybody losing their jobs and stuff. Well, they walked away from a lot of these houses because they couldn't afford to keep them, and
Okay,
when they
yeah,
couldn't
I
sell them,
understand.
because of just the price, and nobody was going to buy. But today that the economy is going up, and it just they just got the house at the good time. They were lucky.
Okay, yeah. Which is a yeah, which is really a bargain. You know, when you say that it's several millions in another state, and then there is kind of like 300,000, then that's really a bargain.
Yeah, and the neighbors, the neighbors here are like doctors and lawyers that live around the lake, and uh, us, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins, we feel like we are like the Beverly Hillbillies, because my aunt is a retired school teacher, and
Okay,
my uncle is a retired like an office programmer. So
okay, uh-huh. You
we
know,
kind of
because the
look
place
out of
looks
place.
really, the
What's
place
that?
looks really, the place itself really looks nice. You know, I was really surprised because I have seen a vlog a couple of weeks ago, and then I thought you were somewhere in Alaska because I heard you
No,
were from Alaska, and then now I
yeah,
saw it like a couple of days ago. I saw that you uploaded something with, you were like, it was, there were like ducks or gooses or something like that,
yeah,
and you held the camera, and then you showed a little bit of footage of the backyard, and the backyard looks like it basically looks like a golf course to me, and
yeah,
there's no neighbors, and it's very the scenery is very beautiful. It's a beautiful place to live, you know. And I was like, wow, what kind of place is this? Because usually when the vloggers show their place, the place where they live, you would see other houses, a street, cars passing by, and so on and so forth. And then in your case, there's no such thing, you know. So it must be very idyllic. I mean, I don't even know, how do you get to that house? Do you swim to the lake, or
no, we have,
how do you get there?
yeah, we got good roads all over the place, and it was just, but a lot of Kentucky is a lot of big hills,
Hmm.
rolling hills all over the place. It doesn't snow. It snowed out once, and then the snow went away the same day and melted the same day. So it's very hot here, very hot and humid. Maybe I think today was a rainy day, but normal days it's around 80, 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, it's a pretty good weather all year round. It's green all year round. The trees, the leaves fall off, but it's just a pretty nice place.
When you live in Kentucky and the place where you live right now, can you give me a short overview about living expenses? I mean,
I
is
don't have I don't I'm not really sure what it is, because my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin, they pay the bills, and I'm just mooching off of them. So
yeah, well, so it's a very, let's say it's a
but
bargain
it's
again.
not that much. It's not that much compared to like big
Yeah.
cities, because like we're out in the countryside, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it also sounds good. You know, the place. If I'm sure that the guys like right now in the live chat are listening to this, they're more familiar than I am with your channel, because I started to catch up with your blogs. But one of the things that I've noticed is that the place really looks amazing, and I I saw another video of yours where you uh, where blood was taken from you. It was like a
Oh,
couple of weeks ago.
yeah, because I've been losing weight,
What was that
and
all about? Are you dealing with some medical issues, or
oh
what
no,
was that?
no. See that they wanted because I just moved here not that long ago, and my I have a new doctor, and they wanted to take blood tests to see how my blood sugar is and a whole bunch of things like that. And I got my results back, and everything is good. I mean, I got no problems and no high blood pressure. A
Mhm.
little bit, very little bit yeah, high blood pressure, but everything
When you
is.
say high blood pressure a little bit, what are the numbers here? Because I actually also usually deal with that. You know, the doctors told me I need to come back uh, if my blood pressure stays at the levels it is now. I might need to take blood pressure lowering pills,
Oh,
and I never went back, you know, because I don't want to take these pills. But maybe it's just really a stupid decision. But when you say a little bit high blood pressure, what are the numbers there?
I
Where
would
are you
have to
at?
go back to my channel and take a look at it. I really don't remember because you got to remember I don't remember a whole bunch of things because of my
Yeah.
incidents. So like so my aunt or my uncle keeps track about stuff like that because I have a short term memory loss.
Oh, tell me a little bit about that.
Oh well, just when I got my head got hit with the machete or the bolo, um, it just like I have some not all the time, but sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night and I don't know where I'm at, so I gotta like look for like a letter that says my address on it. I just get
Seriously now?
confused sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds very strange.
Well, see, because I remember like on my temple, there's a whole bunch of big
Huh?
nerves and blood vessels in it, and I got all of
Uh-huh.
them severed because that's where I
Okay,
got
I
hit at.
understand.
I got hit at where my eye is, like you know that big eyebrow, from my eyebrow all the way to my temple,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's why.
This
See what?
happened in the Philippines, right? This happened in the Philippines.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I
you know,
lost
because there's
around 2 liters of blood within a half an hour,
okay. Oh boy, because I
so
saw this
I was
movie.
kind
You
of
know,
messed up.
there's this movie where the woman, I think it's Nicole Kidman, um, and she wakes up every morning and she basically doesn't know who she is and where she is at, and she keeps a video logbook or something like that, like a video diary where she talks into the cam, and every morning she would watch that video again, where she basically talks to herself, you know, who she is,
Oh,
and so on and so forth. And it's a little bit similar to your situation, where you have a letter. You wake up, you have a letter. My name is Kevin. I'm this age,
yeah,
and
but I'm
these are
not
the
talking about every
documents.
day. Just once in a while, I'll just get like in the middle of the night. I get disorientated.
How long does that stay? I mean, is it like for just
Or
after
just
you woke up?
yeah, just momentarily. I mean, I'm not talking about. It's not all the time. Just once in a while,
Hmm.
I have
So
that.
basically, you would get up in the middle of the night, and then you would stand in front of the mirror and say, who the fuck is this guy here in the
Well, yeah,
mirror?
but
And
the
then
guy
you,
on
you,
the
you
guy in
you
the
read
mirror,
your letter, and then,
the guy in the
okay, yeah,
mirror,
that's me.
he keeps on winking at me.
Okay, okay.
No, it's
That's
not
a
that.
very
It's not
strange way
that
to say
bad.
it. That's, as tragic as it is, it's really strange. But does that get better over time? Do you see any progress?
Well,
Like that it's getting better, that this memory loss is kind of like improving, in the sense of in the first few months and years it was kind of like totally blank, and then it's just
no,
parts of your
just I
memory
just
that are
mostly
lost.
have headaches, really bad headaches on my one side, on my right hand side, and again, if you put your fingers on your head and you rub your fingers like your fingernails over your head, it feels like ants on my head because of my nerve damage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
give
not
me a
too bad.
short overview Give me a short overview of the situation that you are in, or that you are dealing with, concerning you going back to the Philippines, because I'm not really familiar with that. All I know is that there were some problems in the Philippines and you are not allowed to go back
Oh,
to the
oh,
Philippines,
okay.
or what was that all about? Because that's actually really all that I know. I just heard, there's this guy who was on Cess Style, and his name is Big Kevin. He got hit with the bolo, and he has family somewhere in the Philippines, but he's not allowed to go back to the Philippines. He's
Yeah,
dealing with some visa issues and so on and so forth. Can you
yeah.
give me a short overview? What is going on there, and what's the latest?
Well, I overstayed on my visa. Um, that's all. I got there 2001 and I left at 2013, the end of 2013, and I just never paid my visa bills. So I overstayed my visa. I mean, I overstayed in the Philippines for 13 years. I
Oh boy,
went to
yeah,
the
13 years. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Philippines because I opened up a business with a girl that I shouldn't have, and I lost my business after like 3.5 years, and then after that,
What kind of business was that? What kind of business was that?
I had an internet cafe and a
Okay,
billiard, and I had a like a oh, what do you call it? Like a boarding house.
okay, like bed spacers. You would
Yeah,
rent out rooms and so on and so forth. Is that all in the
yeah,
same building? Like in the
yeah,
basement, you have a little bit internet cafe, billiard, and upstairs you get all the rooms that you rented out.
yeah. That's and
Okay.
then that went good for right around a little bit over 3.5 years, and then I lost it all because of mismanagement and a whole bunch of unseen problems.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
then instead of calling, like instead of leaving when I lost my business, I just stayed. And now when I got my head injury, I wanted the doctors and everybody thought it would be a good idea for me to go back to the U.S. So my I had to renew my passport, and I had to go to immigration for I could leave because they wouldn't let me leave without
How
uh,
much did you need to pay? Well, I mean, what amount of money did you owe them? Immigration. I'm
uh,
in the Philippines.
right around 23,000 pesos. 23,000, yeah, right around
Pesos.
5,000 US.
Okay. No, wait a second. 23,000 pesos. That's like that's around
Two,
400 something.
200, 200, right around
200,000.
200.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's another amount. then. Yeah, then it's at like four thousand three
I
hundred or
wish it
five
was
thousand
4,000.
or so. Yeah, because I thought, okay, 13 years overstaying and then 23,000 pesos. That's not too bad, right? That's actually not a really big amount. But when it's like 200,000 plus, then it's a different story. Where was this business of yours located? In what region in the
Oh,
Philippines?
in Iloilo,
Iloilo. Okay.
not too far from Bacolod.
Boracay, huh? Bacolod and Iloilo. Yeah, it's also not too far from Boracay, I assume.
Well, yeah, well, it's connected.
hmm Then you went back to the States. You had to settle. Did you settle the bill of the Bureau of Immigration in the Philippines before you? Because I assume you had to, right?
Well, no, I had to go to my embassy, to the U.S.
hmm
embassy, and they wrote a letter to the immigration saying that I'm not going to pay and I'll be blacklisted until I pay my bill.
Blacklisted from the Bureau of Immigration in the Philippines.
Well, yeah, well, I got blacklisted from the. I got blacklisted. Um,
How did you get out of the Philippines then?
I just got on the plane, but my embassy just wrote a letter saying that what is going on, that I don't have enough
Okay,
money
good. Yeah.
to leave.
Okay, and then they let you leave the Philippines with that U.S. embassy letter.
Yeah,
Okay, uh-huh.
something
But they
happened.
didn't give you any clearance or something like that. It's kind of weird, because how come that? Because the Bureau of you owe the Philippine government a certain amount of money, and then
Yeah,
it's the U.S. embassy that gives you a letter.
if I could, they give me a
Um,
letter to talk to the uh, see, sometimes
the,
like I said, I get confused when I talk a little bit. Um,
all right,
they
yeah, no
they give
problem.
me a letter okaying me, saying that I can't come back to the Philippines.
Oh, okay, I
I
understand.
have to pay to come back.
That's the situation that a couple of other vloggers, one vlogger in particular, also was facing like last year, and I think it was Barry Jordan uh,
Well, you'd be
who had an
surprised how
issue,
many
right?
they get around 50 people a day going to the embassy asking for their letter.
Oh, really?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's very from I mean all countries they have the same problem with Westerners overstaying.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, there was one time there was a documentary, or I mean, in the news, ABS-CBN news, where, and I think you can also find it in on YouTube, where they had like Australians, Germans, people from Sweden,
Oh yeah.
United States. They were like broke in the Philippines. They actually were like, some of them actually were living on the streets, and they overstayed their visas. Some of them had no money at all, and they were just living like the poor in the Philippines.
Yeah, I
And
never got that bad.
it's quite amazing, because they actually come from countries where they would be taken care of if they would have the chance to leave. And some actually uh, they don't really want to leave at all, even if
Yeah.
they live out there in the streets. There's a case like there was a German guy living somewhere in Antipolo, and he would just sleep in deserted houses,
Oh.
somewhere in the garage, or in it's kind of weird. So then you finally left the Philippines,
Yeah,
arrived
my
in
aunt
the
bought me
US.
a ticket from the Philippines to Guam,
hmm
and then when I was in Guam, a church member helped me. He knows somebody over at Merrill Lynch, and we looked at my my work records, and we found out that I still have my 401k investment money, and it was quite a pretty good chunk. That see, I got divorced when I was in the Philippines,
Mhm.
and I thought my ex-wife got the money,
Mhm.
and uh, I was untouched for 13 years. So the money that
So
I
you had a
had
little bit of
got
money
made
coming
interest and
coming from.
everything.
Okay, yeah. And then how did you get back to the mainland from there?
Oh, I cast out my 401k, and then I bought a ticket from Guam back to the U.S.
Okay, and then how long is this ago? How many years is this
Well,
ago?
I left right around December 30th. I left the Philippines December 30th, and and then I excuse me, and then I went to Guam and I stayed there for a year, and then I went back. So right around 2014.
Oh, not too long ago then.
Oh no, this
December the
yeah
30th, 2014, you left Guam.
yeah
Okay, so you came there like at the beginning because you said you stayed in Guam for a year, so probably 2000, December 2013 left the Philippines, stayed in Guam until to December 2014, and since January 2015 back in the States. Now you are working to set on the Bureau of Immigration fees. It's like
yeah.
mhm.
So that's what I'm trying to do now. But see, um, I got a disability. I get a disability check from the government. So I had to go through a whole bunch of um, tests and everything, and my test said that I'm not really fit to work, and that's what happened. So
Oh, I see.
now I'm just getting my disability checks.
That's quite the story there. I mean, it's you know, I mean, huh.
Well, it's interesting, but I'm kind of a little bit tired of it because it's just I don't know. It's just because it's so routine now about my story. But a lot of people find it fascinating that I lived through getting my head almost chopped off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because I'm as I said earlier, I'm not too familiar with your channel and with your story,
Well, you ought
but
to pay attention to my channel more often
yeah, absolutely,
then.
absolutely, because it's quite interesting. Because all I know, look, there's this big guy was hit with the bolo, had problems with it, but you know, basically, I got all the facts together, right? Big guy hit with the
Well, yeah, but
bolo,
I wasn't that big when I was in
can't
the
go back,
Philippines.
has a visa problem.
Yeah, but when because I lost a lot of weight throughout the years when I was in the Philippines, just because I didn't like the food at the beginning and all this, so I my food cut down. But I did a lot of drinking, power drinking. That was kind of fun, but you know that got
You
old after a
are
while.
yesterday you mentioned in one of the live chats you are like 6 foot
Yeah,
three,
this morning. Well, I'm 6'2".
6'2", and 435 pounds.
Yeah, I used to be almost 450, but I've been losing quite a bit of weight for the last month and a half.
Okay. And you're trying to actually lose weight. That's what I understand because
Yeah,
it's kind of
that's
like
my
I
goal
saw a
then.
vlog where you said I lost another uh,
Oh, I almost
10
I'm right around a
pounds,
pound a day that I'm losing.
a pound a day. How do you do that?
I got medication prescribed to me, and
Xenical,
huh?
Xenical.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
clinical is actually really is a beast, right? I mean, if you overeat or it's too fatty, you would just shit fat. It's bestiality, you know.
Well,
It's just like it's just like a yellowish fluid that actually smells like motor oil that,
well, I
that
haven't had that
flows
luxury of
out of
that
your
yet,
asshole.
but that sounds kind of grim. But
Yeah,
no,
it is
I haven't had that problem.
yeah, but it's probably because you just eat healthy food. Because a
Well,
couple of years ago, I also tried to lose a little bit weight. Not that I really have an issue with weight, because I think we used the metric system, but I think it would be like 6'1". That's my height, and I would like one, just to take a shortcut. Because here in the Philippines you can just get it over the counter, and it actually Xenical
oh,
is was
uh-huh.
invented by uh, I think Hoffmann Laroche, which is a Swiss pharmaceutical producer, and you cannot get it in Switzerland just over the counter. You really need to be obese. And here in the Philippines, we would just you could just get it over the counter, And then I got that. I said, I take a shortcut. I get that Xenical. I thought I could eat whatever I want and I would just lose weight. And then I got that stuff. I just ate it, and then I would just continue eating what I usually eat, like pizza and potato wedges. And then all of a sudden you have this yellowish um it smells it literally smells like motor oil. It would
Oh,
just flow out of your asshole, and you don't feel it. All of a sudden, for instance, you would sit in the car, you would get up, and then there's a huge oil stain in your seat, and then you would touch it, and they say, "What the fuck is this?" And then you
well,
smell it, and
we
then
call that
you
bacon
think it's like
strips.
motor oil, and then you realize, because it's really yellowish, and then you realize it's fat. It's pure fat, because the xenical, actually, they say it's like 1/3 of the fats that you take in will be absorbed by xenical, and the rest will just flow through your body. And if you eat too much fat, it would just go through your colon and come out of your asshole. And here we go, because I like the whole asshole topic, and it's
Huh?
like and it just comes out. And there were times where I would just shit my pants. But the good thing about this is you really lose weight. So it's kind of surprising to me that you eating this pill didn't have any problems with that. I would imagine that you would lay in the more, I would imagine this situation. You are there in your beautiful house with that view on the lake, and then in the middle of the night you would get up. You have no fucking idea where you are, and then you just shit your pants with that oily fluid in your pants.
This is the medicine.
You're
Hello?
totally
This
confused and you don't know
this
what's
is the
going
medicine
on.
that I'm using. There.
It's just, I don't know. It's just really um,
Did you look on the screen? This is the name of the medicine that I'm taking.
phentermine 37.5 milligram. Well, then that
Yeah,
that
that's
that, that must
one.
be something else. Then that
Okay,
must be
that's
something.
one tablet a day.
One tablet a day. And what
Oh,
does it actually
yeah,
really
what
do? Because when you want to lose weight, there are two types of
it speeds up your
medicine.
metabolism.
Okay. So you just
So
digest faster.
it's like being on coke.
Okay. Being
It
on
makes you
coke.
like wired. I'll kind of I feel a little bit jittery when I'm taking it. Um, that's why I have to have check my vitals. I go to my clinic and they'll check. like put me up on an EKG and see, make sure everything is going good.
Hmm.
But
Do
yeah,
you
it's pretty good.
do you work out or something like that?
I used to when I was younger, but now that I'm old, I'll be 56 in February.
56 in February.
Yeah,
Is that next February or last February?
I just turned 55.
Okay, okay. But it seems you have a lot of good people around you, in the place where you're staying at right now. It seems
Yeah,
like that they're looking after you, taking care of the things.
well, it's see, my mom is the, my see my aunt. My mom is the oldest, and my aunt was the youngest of in the family.
Your mom is the oldest and your aunt is the youngest.
Yeah. So my
Okay.
mom and my aunt, they're sisters.
Your mom and your aunts are brothers, or what do you say?
No, my aunt, my aunt is my mom's sister.
Ah, okay. Just fucking with you.
Okay.
No, but tell me, um, what is your does the average day in your life look like? I mean, you just get up in
It's
the morning,
boring.
you need pills.
My time here is um I do stuff. I go out with my uncle, my cousins, going out to the city, go shopping, go to the mall. But it's kind of boring here, really, because like in the Philippines, there's always something to do. Here, it's not as much as what I used to do. Because
Yeah, I
when I was in the
understand.
Philippines, my my kid's mom, her father, they have around 3 hectares of rice and around 2 hectares of sugar cane in over in Iloilo. So that's and we got pigs, chickens, goats.
And you somehow also miss that, like going out
Oh
doing
yeah,
things, right? Okay.
yeah.
When when
I love
everything
doing
goes
the farming.
according when everything goes according to plans, when will you be back in the Philippines? And what's the plan to get
Well,
back?
I gotta pay my fine of immigration. So I gotta pay my bill first, and then I can get a ticket and go back to the Philippines. But I want to get my kids and bring them back to the U.S. if they want, or will I want to move them off the mountain because her brother he never went to jail, so I
Okay.
want to get my kids away from him because he's a jealous individual. So it's just good to get him and my kids away from each other.
But so basically, you were trying to say here that you will go back to the Philippines to get your kids back to the US. There is no
Yeah.
plan of you going back to the Philippines, staying in the Philippines. Is that what it is?
Well, see, if right now I'm getting my disability, and if I leave the U.S., I might lose my
Uh,
disability.
I understand. Yeah. So there is a requirement in order to keep being paid by the disability fund.
Yeah, because see, I
And
guess Barry he has a different kind of disability, and he can get his in the Philippines, but mine is different than his.
I understand. I understand. That's not so easy, right? Because first of all, I wonder where would you pay the outstanding immigration bill? I mean, would you
I would send it to my kid's mom, and then she
and
could
then
go
okay,
over to immigration in
and
Manila
then on
and then
behalf of
pay.
you pay it. And you need to make sure that she will actually really pay on your behalf. and
Oh
that
yeah,
you will get
we
the
have
get the
we have a good
confirmation by the
rapport
Bureau of Immigration.
because she's coming back with us to back to the
Ah,
U.S.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then there's an incentive for her not to cheat you. She might just get the money, you know.
Well, I thought of that too, but no, she's her whole family is very good. Just her brother is like the black sheep of the family.
Okay. Hmm. That's a that's not really a easy situation to deal with. But how old are the kids then? They it sounds like as if they're quite old already,
My
like in
daughter
their
is
teenage.
10, and my other daughter is 5.
Okay, I understand. What's the problem with that other guy with their uncle? I mean, what's going
Well,
on there?
he always had an anger management problem, and like ever since he was like when he was in elementary school, and he's like 22 when it happened, and he just always had a problem. And him and his father was having a fight, like a argument, because uh, my kid's grandfather, they get treated better and than his kids.
When you say he has an anger management anger issue, what do you mean by he has an anger issue?
Uh,
I mean, what do you mean by that?
he's easily to he'll fight. Like when he was in high school, he beat up his principal. Uh, he he fights like other family members, like uncles and stuff.
Yeah, seriously, he would beat up his
Oh,
principal, but that
yeah.
doesn't sound like a bad guy to me,
And
honestly.
when he was working, he had a construction site job, and over
Is it good? I
at the construction site, he got in a fight with his foreman, so he was fired.
mean,
So
that's,
he just can't control himself.
yeah, yeah, I mean, that's quite. I don't know. I mean, when you were in high school, you would just beat up your principal, and
Well,
when you
he
are
didn't beat
working
him up. He just
somewhere,
got
and
in a
it's
fight
like
with the principal.
you beat up your foreman. I
Yeah,
mean, it.
because he's only like 5. He's only like what 5'3", 5'4".
And then he would just beat up everybody he sees.
Well,
I mean,
he'll
basically,
try because again, if he doesn't get his own way, then like I say, he's just a problem child, the black sheep of the family.
yeah, I could imagine it. It was like,
And his father told him if because he wanted to leave after what he did after he hit me in the head, and he wanted to take off and run. And his father told him if you leave, like if you get 2 barangays out of here, that he might not make it because he pissed off too many people, and people want to get him.
but what is the what is the issue usually about? I mean, let's say in the high school, it was a
Oh, I
he
don't know.
didn't
I
pass. He
wasn't
didn't
there.
pass in math. Imagine a guy he didn't pass in math, but then he would just fucking lose it.
Yeah,
He beats up the
that
principal.
could be it. But see, when he was fighting with his dad, uh,
uh,
when he was fighting with his father,
well, about what?
his father pays my kids. He gives my kids um, like lots of attention, and his kids
Hmm.
he doesn't get that much attention from his grandparents. So he got jealous about that, and
Yeah,
just
what would he do then? He would just beat up the father.
well, no, his father would
Would beat him up.
disown him if he even
Uh,
did. Everybody, yeah, so he went out of the house, and I was going towards the house, and he was saying something to his father, and then when we I told him that he should respect his father more and don't act like a
They
baby.
would just fucking attack you. I mean, if you
Well,
just say something, it just fucking attacks you. It doesn't say anything anymore. It just hits you in
well,
the face.
he said to me, Gaga, and when I turned away from him and I said, Gaga, you too, and then I fell on the ground.
That's that's a nice conversation. Gaga and Gaga, you too. Basically,
Well,
but
you
what
know
you
what
meant is
Gaga
that
means,
this is
don't you?
the Galago is the Gago, right? That's the Gago.
You know what
Yeah,
that means, right?
I
Okay,
know what you mean. And then
so
you go like Gago, you too.
yeah.
And then oh, that's quite the situation. I mean, it's like and everything got out of control from there on.
Well, no, then I was walking away from him, and he grabbed a sugar cane bolo. And do you know what a sugar cane bolo is?
Yeah, I know. That's this. It's just basically like looks like
That's the one with the
a
hook.
fucking sword,
That's the
right?
one with
It's
the
a
hook on
fucking
it.
pirate sword.
No, no, no. The a sugar cane bolo has like a hook, so you could cut the
Yeah.
sugar cane and then pull it towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's what he hit me with, and he hit
He is
me.
the guy who actually attacked you.
What's that?
He is the guy who attacked you, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been telling you.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay. Because he just fucking lost it.
Yeah. Well, he lost it when he was fighting with his dad, and his dad told him to get out of the house, and then I was going towards the house, and then I just said that to him, and then I kept on walking, and then all of a sudden I fell to the ground, and he hit me with the bolo behind my back because he's not going to do anything in front of me, so he just cheap shot me behind my back.
What kind of person would do something like that?
Well,
What
a
kind of
coward.
asshole is this? I mean, how old is this guy?
Well, he was 22 when he did it.
How old is he now?
Well, I don't know. It's what 4 years. So
So a young guy, like 26, what
yeah,
is it, 20, 22? Then, okay, it must be like 26, 27, 28. A really young guy.
yeah.
I mean, what happened then? The guy must be, the guy, they should have put him fucking in jail or something.
Well,
Or shoot the motherfucker.
well, blood's thicker than
So they
water.
stick to him.
What's that?
I mean, basically they protect him. Basically, the family protects him now
Yeah,
from all the legal consequences and so on and so forth. Because when you have somebody like this in the family who does something like that, it shows a pattern of violent behavior. That is just.
but that's what happens. That's what happened.
He's probably mentally ill.
Well,
He's
again,
fucking
he has an anger management problem. That's what I said.
It's not an anger management problem,
He can't
Kevin.
control himself
When you
when he's
attack
angry.
people with the fucking bolo,
Yeah. Well,
that's
he
not
couldn't
the
fight
anger
me,
management.
so
Anger management problem is when you when you are in traffic and then you start yelling at somebody and or you need to wait in line and you fucking lose it. You throw you throw the ice cream on the floor, then you walk away, or you're a Pizza Hut and they bring you the wrong pizza. You ordered Pizza Hawaii and they bring you the I don't know, the pizza margarita, and then you fucking lose it. You throw the Coke
yeah.
on the wall, then you walk out. That's an anger management problem. But what
Well,
this
yeah.
guy is that's not anger management problem anymore. This is a criminal behavior. This is somebody who belongs behind bars. This is
Yeah. This one guy
a
just said
murder
the
attempt.
guy what he goes, I would have shot him on sight.
Absolutely.
Well,
Because the
You
thing is,
know,
this is about you or me. This is about
yeah,
life and death. This is
yeah.
what
It
this is
is.
all
Everybody
about.
says well what they would do, but if you were there, if you were there, it's a whole
How
completely
this is
different
he's
story.
5'3"?
What's
He's
that?
5'3"?
Yeah,
How high?
he's
How tall
he's a
is he?
short guy.
It's a very short. Yeah, no, but that's just fucking. That's I don't know. That is just absolutely. Did he ever apologize to you? Did he ever reach out to you
No,
after this?
no. His wife visited me when I was in the hospital, and I asked him, does he feel anything? And his wife said, no, he doesn't care. So yeah, again, that's why I want to get my kids off the mountain, just because you don't know when he's gonna go off again.
What does the local barangay or local police station? I mean,
Well,
this is what this is really a very um. These are the questions in my mind right now because when somebody is like this and shows a pattern of really violent behavior and him attacking you with a bolo, nearly killing you, putting you in a
well,
life-threatening situation because that's what it
yeah,
is. It is a life-threatening situation.
yeah.
This must have been something. This must have been big news in the town where you are at. Everybody must be. He, the American guy was hit, and everybody knew about it. This must have been talk of town.
Oh,
What happened then? Was
it
there any
was.
reaction coming from the community, like from the
I
police
really
or
don't know
any?
too much about because I never went back there. Um, yeah,
Yeah, but what about your
but
wife? What about the kids? What about what the? I mean, no, the kids are too young. But the thing is, what about the other relatives? Did they ever tell you what they? I mean, because it looks like as if they're kind of like covering this up. I can literally
but
see
see the
the scene
police
in front of
the
my
police
eyes.
know
I mean,
about it.
he goes off, he
The
goes
the
off, and he loses it. He attacks you, and then everybody goes like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And they pull him away. They bring you to the hospital, and then they come together and say, "Hey, what should we do now?" Because this is a situation where he might go to jail, and you might lose your life, and they just somehow try to cover it up, because it I understand that he is their relative, but them not doing something about it, not taking that there were no consequences, that it's kind of it really is mind blowing. I mean, right now I'm like, how is this even possible? I mean, did you never think of that they just trying to be on both sides? It's kind of like
yeah,
we
but
support Kevin because he's the victim here, but on the other side, he is our relative. But you can't have it both ways. It's
yeah,
impossible to have it
that's
both
why
because
I never
he
went
nearly
back
killed him.
there. I went to
Yeah.
I went there, and then I went and got I got a ticket. My kid's mom and I we went and got on the boat, and we went to Manila, and then
Mm.
I spent maybe around, oh my, right around a couple of months in Manila getting my paperwork
Mm.
uh, fixed, because I had to get a new passport, and then I had to go to immigration, and that took a long time because, well, if you ever been to immigration, everything takes a long time.
Yeah, every government institution takes really a long time. But Kevin, let me get back to this guy. I mean, did it's just, did you
No,
ever feel that
Uh-huh.
you need to do something about it. I mean, like pressing charges, filing a case, like getting a lawyer involved. And
Yeah,
how long have you been in hospital there? I mean,
I was in
get
the
to
hospital for two
realize what
weeks.
happened. Sorry, how long have you been?
I got this one guy's. He asked me how long did I did I press charges?
Yeah.
No, I didn't press charges, and the
Why?
doctor that treated me, he never pressed charges against my brother-in-law.
But is there a reason why on your
Um,
on your side? Why did you not press
because
charges? Is because
my father
everybody
my
said
my
your
father-in-law
father-in-law?
said my father-in-law said if I don't press charges, he would pay for my medical bill.
Okay, so they were, yeah, but it's that's a very strange situation right there. I mean,
Yeah,
basically, is exactly what I just mentioned earlier. It's just let's it's kind it smells like let's cover this up, let's not make, because this is a serious thing, and he would have been really in trouble if you would have if you would have done something. I mean, take legal action, because this is so obvious that the police can't just say, okay, this is not nothing.
oh,
I mean, they would have
the
taken him and
hospital, the hospital that we went to, uh, the closest one was around 30 minutes from our town, and I went to a prenatal
mhm.
hospital. It was called a
So
pre.
basically it's a fucking provincial hospital.
No, that's where the women go to get babies.
Yeah, but in the province, that's basically like a warehouse. Because right? I mean, no offense, but it's really because the hospitals in the province, and I don't mean, when I go to places like Nueva Ecija, and that's still it's not too far from Manila. I see certain hospitals where I say that in other. I mean, it looks it doesn't look like a hospital. That's what I mean. I could very well imagine that in the place like Iloilo, somewhere in a prenatal
Prenatal
whatever.
clinic. Yeah,
Yeah, in a clinic. That's probably not really the best place to treat something, to treat an injury you had.
yeah. Maybe in the U.S., all one guy is saying all hospitals have to report all gunshots and all knife attacks to the cops. No, that's not true
And
because
in Iloilo, definitely not. It seems. How long did it take for you to realize what just took place? Because I mean, you
oh
walk down and then something hits you. You
oh
fell down.
okay.
When did you
Well,
realize it was him attacking you?
yeah. See, he hit me from behind. I fell to one knee, like I knelt to the ground. One knee was like bent, and the other knee was, um, like I took a knee, and I said, "Wow, he sucker punched me." I mean, I said that was a good sucker punch. I mean, because I thought he hit me from behind, like with his fist, and he dropped me to the ground, and then all of a sudden I was looking at the ground and I seen a drop of blood, and I go, "What's this?" And I try to lift up my head, and I put my hand to my forehead, on the side of my head, and there was a machete stuck to my head. So I grabbed the machete and I pulled it out, and then the blood started gushing out.
Oh boy!
So
You had to fucking pull the fucking bolo out of your head.
you
It
ever
was just
cut
fucking
a
stuck on your
coconut?
head.
You ever try to cut a
It's like on the
coconut?
coconut.
That's
Yeah,
what it
they
felt
pull
like.
it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So that's
You
all.
can you were able to remember everything of this.
Yeah, I got up. I got up, and then I threw the machete to the ground, and his
Who
wife,
saw who
huh?
saw this? I mean, who saw this?
His wife, him, and my father in law was on the other side of the house.
He
So,
saw that.
well, he didn't see it, but he saw what happened,
Okay. Hmm.
and he come running around because I called him, and he come running around the house, and he seen what he did, and his father was gonna pick up something and hit his son, but I told him because they start yelling at each other, and I told his father that I got to get off the rice paddies because we were gonna go get rice, harvest the rice, and we walked off the rice paddies around a hectare off the rice paddies to the main road, and then I walked maybe 100 yards from the main road up, and a friend of ours stopped in a pickup truck, and we got in, and we went 30 minutes to the clinic, but I
How
never
much was the
passed
bill
out.
at the clinic then? How much was the bill at the clinic?
I never asked. I think it was right around maybe 50 50,000 pesos.
The amount that they thought would keep you silent about the whole incident. Yeah, because the father was just like it was like a trade-off. Like you keep your silence, and we settle this. It's basically like they take advantage of your situation being in the hospital because it's not the time to fucking negotiate
Yeah,
about
yeah.
about you should you and the thing is it's just it's also very I don't even know what term to use, but when you come to the hospital and say you keep silent, then we will pay the hospital bills.
No,
What
no.
if you would say what would have been when you would say no, I expect you to pay the hospital bills and then I will press charges because you telling me now that you would not even pay the hospital bills if but you trying to buy me in the sense of
No,
me not
it
doing anything.
wasn't
It's
that
just
bad. It just it just I didn't have enough money to pay, and his father said that he would take care of the bill.
in exchange for you to keep silent, right?
Well, everybody kept silent. Yeah, like I said,
I mean,
the doctor
you
he never made a report. He just
yeah, but
so
the doctor is it's probably some it's some provincial doctor who doesn't really want to get in trouble. It's kind of like I do my job here. I don't need some crazy people coming after me. And I and this is a guy who just got hit with the bolo in the face, and I don't want to be the next guy. What could happen to me if I report this and then because if the doctor goes ahead and files a report and the family finds out about it, well, it's for the doctor it's a very complicated situation.
yeah,
It's a different thing when it's in the Manila hospital, for instance, or in one of the bigger cities, because they have the support of the system that's just a big difference. But let me ask you this: if you would see this guy in front of you, you
huh?
must have thought of that. What would
Well,
you do? What would you say? What would you wanna tell this guy if you would
well,
see the guy who
nothing.
attacked you with the ball in front of you? How do you feel
Yeah.
about this guy?
Uh, somebody asked him about about like is he sad what happened, and he came back and said no, because if he didn't overstay, then nothing would have happened. That was his comeback.
If you would not have overstayed your visa,
Yeah,
nothing would
nothing
have
would have
happened.
happened.
That has
That was
nothing. That has nothing to do with
no,
each
but
other.
that was his logic.
Yeah, but that's a logic. That this is the logic of a sick man.
Yeah,
That's the logic of a sick man. Somebody who is was obviously mentally ill would say something like that.
yeah,
It's refusing his responsibility for what happened. It's refusing to acknowledge that he is the cause of a situation where you nearly lost your life. That's what it is all about. And then it's basically saying like, I'm not responsible for nearly killing a person because uh, the sun in India is shining hotter than in Japan. It's like I shot somebody in the face because the sugar price in Russia went down. It has fucking nothing to do with each other.
yeah,
You're overstaying the visa has nothing to do with each other.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's a mentally ill. This guy's fucking mentally ill.
yeah. He says it's hobo logic.
It's horrible logic. But how do you feel about this guy, Kevin?
Well,
Is it
I
hate? Is
I
it
don't want to
anger?
say anything because one day if something happens to him, then I don't want to be blamed because I don't want somebody to say, well, he Kevin said this, and now something happened to him. So I'm not saying nothing because, but I figure everybody will get their day.
Absolutely, yeah. Have you? Would you? I want to ask you this: if it would be you hitting him with the bolo in the face,
Oh, I
what do
probably
you think
wouldn't have
would
made
have
it off the
fucking
mountain.
happened? Yeah. What do you think would his father do? Do you think his father would also just say, here's a little bit the hot head, and then the wife would come over and say, let's just settle this, and the father would say, I'll pay the bills, and do you think, or you would pay the bills, of course, and then you think you
And
would
then
get
go to
get
jail.
away with something like that?
I would have paid the bill and then go to jail.
Yeah, or even worse, or even
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. But again, that's that yeah. But
This
yeah.
is a crazy. This is a very crazy story. I feel angry about this. I feel upset about this. I feel like, what kind of asshole is this guy? I mean, what kind of, it strikes me like a spoiled.
Well, no, he's not spoiled. I was getting more spoiled, and my kids get spoiled, and he was angry because none of his kids get the same thing that my kids get.
Yeah, but
So
the
he
thing
was
is, it's a
very
fucking
envious.
disappointment. The guy is a fucking disappointment, probably to his parents.
Yeah,
Is a troublemaker. And what I meant with
yeah,
spoiled is that he always gets his way. Because this kind of behavior actually shows early on, and the father or the family never really did something about it. When he hits the principal, there must be severe actions need to be taken. Then. And the father must have. Uh,
yeah. He was
he has
kicked
to
out
do
of
something
school when
about
that
it.
happened.
Yeah, but the thing,
Yeah.
somebody, because somebody has to discipline the guy. This doesn't just happen overnight. You don't just wake up and say, okay, today I will be the most violent person in town. Somebody must have should have done something about it,
Well,
because
he
anything else it will get worse.
his
It will
father
it will
kicked him off the mountain a couple of times, but
mm.
because he shamed the family, and then he would come back, and but yeah, he was working in Manila, and he got in a fight with the foreman at the construction site, and he was fired the same day, and so he had to go back to Iloilo.
Where is this guy now? What is he doing? Where are his sources of income?
Well, he left the mountain because his parents shunned him, and he's been gone for around 3 years now.
So they don't know where he is.
Yeah, but
Is
he
that what they tell you, or
well,
or or,
that's what
or
yeah, that's what I've been told. Um,
that they do not
uh,
know where he is?
yeah,
Yeah, but that's also not really very.
could be true or
Um,
could not be true.
yeah, because I see something like a chance that they say, oh, we don't know where he is. He's gone, and because they don't want you to know, because
Yeah, but you got to
they
remember
must be afraid. Like,
when he did this, it made the whole family look bad. I
mhm.
mean,
When you say
throughout
off
the
the
whole
mountain,
town.
you often said off the mountain. What kind of mountain are you talking about? They live somewhere in a Baja Kubo on a mountain, or what do you mean by
Well,
that?
that whole like Ilo is filled with mountains and in the countryside, and they have my father-in-law's wife is from the mountainside. Okay,
Hmm.
my father-in-law, his family lives down below where the rice fields are. So up on top of the mountain is where the sugarcane and the mangoes are, and then down
Hmm.
below is where, so like there's two different big families. One family is from the mountain, and the other family is her father's family is down at the rice fields.
I
Uh,
understand.
it, it's a big family. Like I guess
Everybody
when I
knows
say the
everybody.
mountain, they're all the mountain like hillbillies, country people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you talk to your wife, does this topic come up? Is
Well,
this something
she's
that
not
you
my
talk
wife.
about every
Well,
now?
we are common law husband and wife.
Okay, yeah. Do you, with your partner, do you talk about this? Does this come up every now and then?
Oh
Where
yeah,
where
but
her
my kid's mom, they hate each other, and and other family members like walked away from him, and like if he needs help, nobody will help him just because of what happened. So that's why he left and went to another island to go work.
he does construction work, you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah,
It's basically like a day laborer, like a little bit here, a little bit there.
yeah, yeah. Because he doesn't really keep a job for a long time because of that problem, because of
Snaps.
anger problems.
Uh-huh. Is there an explanation to that? Why he's like this?
He was just he was just he was born mad at the world.
He is the brother of your
Yeah,
mother's children, right?
yeah.
Your mother's children. Is she also like that? Is there anything that
No, no,
in her
nobody at
behavior that
all.
she yells or?
He's from a good family, and the father he's the father's not home too often because he gets the rice fields and he got the sugar cane plantation. So his father is not home all the time because he's always at one or the other place.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, that's a really strange. That's a really strange mission.
But really, people get attacked by machetes, by bolos all the time. I mean, that's the number one weapon of choice because it's so easily you can get it compared to a gun, right?
Number one weapon of choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's just
it's
bolo.
yeah. That's a very strange situation right there. I mean, it's one thing to hear about this or read about this in the news, like man got attacked with a bolo in Iloilo,
Have you seen
and
pictures
and and
of my face?
I have seen
Well,
just the usual
have
vlogs.
you
I
seen
mean,
a
and then
big
I see that
scar across
you
my
got a
face?
scar. You got a, but it doesn't seem on the vlogs itself. It doesn't seem too obvious. I mean, of
Well,
course you
that's
see it,
because
but
the doctors did a good job.
yeah. But
Even though even though they were at a
I could imagine
pregnant
how. I mean, I
hospital.
can only imagine how it must have looked like uh,
Oh,
after
it was
they put
it
him
was
back together.
horrible. I got
It
I got
must have been like
48
swollen
stitches
and
on the
fucking.
inside, and then 50 stitches on the outside.
Was the bone, the skull also affected? It must have been because it was like sticking
Yeah,
in your skull
see,
basically.
my the forehead, like where my eyebrow is, that's the thickest part of your skull is your forehead and your eyebrow, and then it
Hmm.
starts tapering over where your ears are of thickness. So I was lucky
Hmm.
to get hit in the forehead compared to any other place on my body. If I got hit in the back of the head, or if I would have got like my neck or any vital areas, but I was lucky to get hit in the forehead.
You basically would have died. The chances that you
Yeah,
would have died are very, very
I
high.
lost I lost 2 liters of blood
Hmm.
in that time within a half an hour. So I was just bleeding out. Even though
Hmm.
I had compound pressure, I was applying to my forehead, but still, that's why like boxers when they get the little cut on the eyebrow, they stop the fight. They stop the fight just because of the amount of blood that you can lose right there through your eyebrow.
Were you told what happened when you lost your conscience? I mean, you
Oh
were a
no,
big guy. How
I
did they
never
bring
passed
you
out.
to the hospital? You never
Well,
passed out. You were
I
always
walked.
aware.
I walked off the rice paddies. So I pulled out the blade, and then I grabbed a towel, put it on my forehead, and then her father and I uh, we walked. Um, Nobody ever helped me except when we got to the car, and then I got in a front seat, and then her dad got in the back of the pickup, and then he raced to the hospital.
How long did it take for you to get to the hospital with a fucking open
Right,
skull?
right around 30 minutes, and he was racing
Oh fuck!
the whole way. Anyway, how are you doing
I mean,
today?
this is
I never asked how are you. How are you feeling?
that's a fucking U-turn there, from uh, racing to the hospital with a fucking hole in the head. Anyway, how
I'm
do I do today? I'm in
Yeah,
fucking
because
bed. I'm
I
fucking
never asked how
shocked
you
over
are
here.
today.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I I
I was
I
I
heard
was
you were a
about
little
to
bit
tell you a
under the
little bit.
weather. I hope you start feeling better.
I was yesterday. I was on Kwentong Baliw with Dave, and I told him about my medical condition, about me having this loose bowel and a little bit fever. But now I feel like it's not a topic I want to talk
So,
about after
so
this after this fucking
maybe later
polo
we can have a
story.
prayer session and we'll pray for your speedy recovery.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm okay. I mean I don't want to even mention that I sometimes have a little bit stomach pain and I feel like a little bit fatigued because after a story like this, I'm dealing with non-issues. I mean it's all right. I'm good. But thanks for asking. No, I'm okay. I was just like yesterday. I was a little bit driving around in Manila in the middle of the night. That's what I usually do when I feel like I can't sleep. And then I was listening
Looking
to
for prostitute.
Barry Jordan's vlog. I mean live cast, and then I came back and fell asleep like 3, 4, and 3, 4 in the a.m. And then I checked the time, and then I said, okay, it's 9:10 or something like that, 9:10 a.m. And then I saw, okay, let's check Big Kevin's channel because he might be um, preparing the live cast of the day already.
Yeah.
That's what I did, and since then I'm just here talking to you, listening to this very hole in the head story, and getting an overview about what has happened. I know that you have spoken about this a couple of times already on different live casts, but I never
Yeah.
really got the full picture of it. And now talking to you directly like this, it's just it's a different thing again. When you hear it directly from the person who has been involved in this. And yeah, but thanks for asking. I'm all right. I mean, compared to this, I think everybody out there is
Master
is is
Tux,
all
he
right.
was asking, tell us about your day, Aloe.
Well, the day is actually not yet that long. It's 10:51 a.m. over here. I don't know what I will do with the rest of the day, but usually on a weekend, I would stay in bed, and then once I get hungry, I would just drive to one of these pizza parlors. I know I feel like eating pizza, because in the last 3 days I was just always on the toilet and shitting, and I felt weird. And yesterday I felt a little bit better, so I got myself a Whopper and a big Coke.
Are you
And
married?
yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I am married. Yeah,
And do you have kids?
yes, I do have
Well, tell
kids.
us all
I have one
because
daughter.
our friendly viewers, they want to hear about you. They already heard about
Yeah,
me many
well,
times.
yeah. What can I say? Do you know what I live in the field. I'll give you a short overview, okay? Because I think you don't really know yet. Some of the guys out there, they might know, but some not. And um, I live in the Philippines since 2010. I live off passive income, as you call it. That's the right term. I do rent out condominiums and townhouse, and I do have
Oh,
income coming from a farm, which is you mentioned also earlier in Iloilo that you were like living in a place with rice paddies. So I you might be familiar with palay. So I do produce palay, and then I sell it to the rice mills. That's a business that I have in Nueva Ecija, which is known in the Philippines as the rice granary of the Philippines.
uh huh.
So it's farming, and it's renting out the condominiums townhouse
And what
where
kind of
I
rice
get
do
my
you have?
money from. Sorry?
What kind of rice?
Just the usual rice. I don't really eat my own rice. I
Oh,
just produce it, and then I sell it.
okay. We
It's basically like you get a certain kilo price, and then there are certain how should I say, there are certain rice varieties. And in summer,
yeah,
I
because
mean in dry season,
we have
I
grade
sell
A
hybrid rice.
rice.
Sorry?
We have grade A.
Grade A rice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
usually it's like triple 2 or 216. That these are the names of the rice varieties. What kind of, are you familiar? I mean, do you know what kind of rice do you
well,
plant?
we
I mean,
grow. We have that rice that you make sticky rice from.
yeah, that's this dessert rice. They call it. There's a certain name. It's just on my tongue. Kikit, bibikit, it's a sticky rice. It's the dessert rice. I call
Uh,
it dessert rice, but the Tagalog term, it's malangkit, malangkit,
yeah,
right?
and then
You
we
also call
also
it
have
malangkit.
red rice.
Red rice. No, I don't. But I don't really plant a lot of that dessert rice. I mean, I have a farm for each farm. I have a farm manager. He's the guy who would usually
Yeah,
go out there and oversee the whole
kind
process.
of like a foreman.
Yeah, exactly. And then they will get a certain percentage of the overall volume of
Yeah,
the pollen
of
that
the
that
yield
this,
you guys have.
yeah, of the harvest, right? And then
Yeah,
it's all by percentage, right? I assume it's the same in your place. It's
yeah,
like the foreman gets like this percent, and then the people who transfer, who cut the rice. I mean, the pali would get another uh,
yeah.
number
We
of
have to
percentage of the
hire all
overall
those
harvest.
people.
Sorry.
We have to hire they first they we have two kinds of rice. The first the one kind of rice that you throw on it, and then the second one we use like it's already long and you just take it and plant it.
Yeah, we do that one.
Okay.
Actually, you would do it like you dedicate a certain part of the rice land to grow the rice first until that green stick
Yeah.
comes out of the water, right? Then you get it, and then you get the
Yeah.
planters who will uh, put it all over the place. You know, but I'm actually not really involved in the day-to-day business. I actually don't really go out there and do these things. You know, that's why
So
I
you
have a
don't really
very
like go over. You're not like an overseer.
no. I don't. I'm more into the numbers part of it, like
Okay.
looking at how much goes in, how much comes out, and then you calculate the average price per kilo, and then you do the transactions with the rice dealers. I mean,
Yeah.
with the
Plus, you got to
agent.
buy the fertilizer. You got to buy the
Exactly.
bug
Exactly.
um, killer.
The
A lot of
seeds, the
lot of work.
fertilizer, and all those kind of things. And it's actually a very interesting business. Let me ask you, down in Iloilo, is this irrigated farmland, or do you need water pumps?
No, we have a gasoline pump, but most of it is irrigated from off the mountain, like because of the water
Okay.
goes down off the mountain
Hmm.
to the reservoirs, like not reservoir, the canals.
Exactly. Yeah, from the national irrigation.
Yeah. So
Uh,
we have that, but when we have like a dry spell, and we have a deep water pump, we have a deep water well, and then we have a
mhm. Do you need to pay that?
no. That's this is all family owned.
No, I mean the
Oh
irrigation,
no,
because the
no,
national
it's
irrigation. You
free.
don't need to pay that.
No.
Because in NYC, actually, it's like it comes from a dam, and then every after every harvest, they would usually go from farmer to farmer. I mean, from owner to owner, and then they would collect based on the size of your land. They would collect a certain amount of money. And since the Duterte administration came in, Duterte actually said, we will do away with that. We won't collect any fees anymore for the irrigation.
Uh-huh.
And
Mikey
you when
550
you
just asked. My girlfriend owns a farm, a sugarcane farm,
mhm,
and when they harvest,
she gets the percentage,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is actually what I just wanted to mention, because that's actually a very interesting comment there. Because usually, or right now, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there are companies who actually also do that in the rice trade. So they would offer you like a hybrid rice, and then you would it's called, I think, contractual farming. You would have a deal that they will provide you with the seeds, and it's usually hybrid seeds, which
uh-huh,
is it will give you a bigger harvest, and then you would um, directly sell it to that
Yeah,
company,
but
and
we don't
that's
have that
that's quite
problem.
lucrative.
We
Sorry.
don't have that problem, but our next door neighbor, he does that, and he just grows it, and they come and they deliver fertilizer and
Mm-hmm.
um, bug spray. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he just has to take care of everything, but they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
and deliver everything to him.
And they also actually have, because these big companies, they also have the right equipment to do the harvest. Although they would have this, that the mechanization level is a lot higher when you go with this kind of people. Usually because it's really
Someone
a
just
lot of
said,
manual work, and these guys, they just come in with a harvester, and then after everything is cut, they put it on a truck, on several trucks. They would bring it to their warehouse. They will weigh it, and then they will give you a check, and then that's it. It's easier, and it's a nice business. I must say.
some of our fertilizer companies, like King. That's where you go buy the seed and the fertilizer and the bug spray. Um, they will give us like credit, and then at the end of the year
Hmm.
we go back and pay them.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they usually do. And these companies actually um, they give you the seeds, and then they will just deduct it after you sold your harvest to them. So basically, they have like exclusive rights on your harvest. Who
Yeah, but
it's it's
the
basically it's a
money's
little
not
bit
that
like
great.
renting out your land to them. One part they are, yeah, renting out your land to them. But
Yeah.
there are people actually who would do that, who are not involved, in any of the farming anymore. They would just say, okay, this is, for instance, is SL Agritech, which is one of the biggest rice planters. I mean, in the hybrid rice business, and then they would just say, okay, for a year, and then they will rent the land, or you are a farmer, and then they would just give you the seeds. You do the farming, and then they would just have like a supervisor, like they called it, like technician, uh, who will come over every now and then and check on the rice, on the paddy, if everything is okay, if it's not infested with some um,
Bugs, insects,
bugs and stuff
snails.
like that, and insects. And then they would usually recommend you need to do this, you need to do that, because want that you will be successful with your harvest, and then they would also get a better or bigger share of it. And I'm doing this also since like I think it's the second year now that we are doing this contractual farming with them, and my experience has been actually quite positive, because the harvest is really um, bigger, and it's also less stressful, because you don't need to look for all the people who will find, who will do the harvest, who will cut it, and all that stuff, because
But
they
yeah,
have the big
they're like
equipment,
migrating.
harvest and equipment. Sorry.
Jason's asking, hey Jason. Jason's asking, hello, how old are you?
38.
Mikey 550 called you an old fart.
That's because he's a very young guy, that's why.
Who Mikey 550?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a little bit older than me.
Yeah, but Mikey 550 is quite a famous guy in the community. Everybody knows him.
Yeah, I had Mikey on my show before.
Really? When was that?
Oh, I don't know, right around a month and a half ago, maybe right around there.
Okay. This is what I found a little bit weird yesterday, because I checked out your channel, and then I realized I'm not subscribed to your channel. Actually, I thought I was subscribed to your channel, and I was wondering, why do I not get any notifications? And then when I went to
Oh,
your channel, I saw that you have a lot of new videos up there, and I was just
yeah, I
like,
got around 50 new ones. Because when,
sorry,
yeah, because one day I only had a few videos, and now I got around right around 50, 51, 52 videos.
51, 52 videos. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
and then I saw that I'm not sub to your, I didn't subscribe to your channel yet, but I think I did already.
huh.
Sometimes I'm subscribed to certain channels, I don't get any notification.
Well,
Or
maybe you got hit
I
in
don't,
the
or
head
just get it
too
like an hour later. And everybody was just like, hey, did you see the newest vlog? And I was like, well, which one? Then I
Well,
wonder
did you get hit in the
where.
head and you got memory loss too?
No, yeah, but that's because of not because
Hangover?
somebody hit me in the with the bolo with the head. Uh, but it's quite interesting right now because we have a couple of people in the live chat who actually also know something or are related to farming. Like mango trees and sugar cane, and a couple of them are into rice farming and so on and so forth. And you too. So that's interesting because I thought like I'm probably the only person who does something like this, but it seems that there are more
Oh,
people who do
those,
this or know a little bit something about this than I thought.
well, it's pretty good. It's good income, but it's sometimes it's not that good. It depends on the time of year. Like if you're gonna
Yeah,
sell the rice,
it's
then the price is,
it's quite
uh,
a gamble.
yeah, it is.
I mean, in the wet season, it's quite a gamble, as you know, because the dry season, April, around April is usually when you get a higher price for your rice paddy. But in the wet season, when
So that's now.
a bit unpredictable, and it just starts raining while you're doing the harvest, cutting the rice, then it's like
Oh yeah,
you lose a
yeah,
lot of money because the rice mill won't pay you um, the same price when the paddy is wet or dark.
yeah, yeah. I
It's a
harvest
little bit
rice
like at
before.
the stock exchange. It's a little bit like at the stock exchange. It's there's a certain low. Then it also depends what the market uh, looks like at that time when you are about to sell the rice, and of course also the seeds itself, the quality, if it's dark, if it's dry, all these factors actually um, decide what price the rice will be per kilo.
Yeah,
And
but usually the
one
Chinese
or two
people,
pesos more or less. Sorry.
usually the Chinese buyers, because a lot of the rice is bought up by Chinese stock people.
Yeah.
Like over in Iloilo, a lot of the buyers are Chinese or Chinese Filipino, so that they all
Yeah, that's
bring the
true. Yeah,
price
I
up.
mean, yeah. There's actually they say that somewhere in Binondo, which is it's the Chinatown in Manila. They say something like a rice cartel. Where the big families come together and then they would like hoard the rice in warehouses around the
Yeah,
country and keep the rice, and therefore artificially um, lower the supply in order for them to demand a higher price later
yeah.
on, and then they would release the rice.
Same with sugarcane.
Usually putting it like in a bodega or something.
Yeah.
Randall R asked, I heard you can get 3 crops of rice per year. Is that true? How is that
Lucky
in
if you're
Iloilo?
lucky.
Because in Nueva Ecija we have two uh, crops, we
We,
have the wet season and the dry season, but I know of places where they actually plant rice 3 times a year.
uh, well, we have two rice. We plant twice, but if we have we the third rice, we might have to pump the water.
Okay, yeah, which is also really costly.
Yeah, because of the gas. We have our own um, pumps, but just if depends on how much water we have. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
see, the
usually
water problem,
two.
we don't really have that up there in Nueva Ecija because it's all irrigated, and it's quite, the canal and the canal system itself, it's very sophisticated. There were times a couple of years back where they were talking about the El Nino phenomenon, the dry spell. I mean,
Yeah,
it was very dry. People lost their crops because there was just not enough water to maintain. It was really problematic during those times. And in Nueva Ecija or certain parts of Nueva Ecija, you wouldn't have that problem because it's directly from a dam. And even during the El Nino days, water supply was never really a problem. And it can be a huge problem when the water supply is not sufficient, and it's actually really also costly. So right now, because the Duterte administration will do away with this irrigation fees, it will really help to increase income with rice farming.
someone just said. Randall just said. Also, yes, rats can. Yeah, the rats can eat a lot of the rice
Yeah.
too. Same with
Mm.
chickens, though.
Yeah, and birds. It's all kinds
Yeah,
of problems that you are dealing with. It's not only the weather; it's also snails and it's also the soil needs to be prepared before you actually really plant. Because the soil also
yeah.
gets tired or how should I say? All the chemicals and you it's a year round business. If you're not planting, then you need to prepare the soil.
Well,
We really
when we don't have rice, we've been planting like okra, corn, stuff like that in the field, for we can have that nourishment and stuff.
Mhm. Do you treat it with minerals? I mean, it's like for instance, like sulfur or like stuff like
So
that.
for I really don't. I don't think so.
Okay.
But again, I really don't pay attention sometimes, because sometimes we're not at the farm, and sometimes like we're in the city. Because sometimes I was teaching English at a Korean school also
Mhm. But
before
what is
everything
really
went bad.
interesting in the rice trade is actually where the money is or where the money seems to be is in the trade with the seeds and especially with the fertilizer, because it's in our case, it's I think it's also a Filipino Chinese traders family um, who is doing that business. They sell fertilizer, and whatever happens, if it's a good season or not, their the fertilizer prices keep climbing.
Yeah,
It's they always walk away with a good profit because people need that fertilizer.
yeah,
No matter
and they know that, so they just jack up the prices. But yeah,
exactly,
that
when
those
prices
sugar
go
cane
go up, like the
and rice,
gasoline prices. When the
both.
gasoline prices go up, fertilizer prices also go up. They always walk away with the profit because for them it's not really a big deal if the harvest was good or not. They just sell their seeds and their chemicals, fertilizers, snail kill, and so on and so forth.
Uh huh.
And that's why the rice business is quite tricky because
It's a
If you,
gamble.
yeah, it's a gamble. Usually, as I said, in the dry season, you might walk away with a nice profit, but you need to set aside enough money to make sure that you won't walk away with a loss in the next
Yeah,
season. Because I had times, and I was not actually, I was very lucky. I was not affected by it, but there were times where we knew in a day or two we would harvest, and then all of a sudden there's a rainstorm, and the winds were so strong that the rice would just
lay
it
down.
would yeah fall down, like when the
Yeah,
rice sinks into the water, and then for
yeah,
days, and then it turns black because of the mud, and some of it is just gone because it falls off because of heavy rain, and there will be the work for like 3-4 months, and hundreds of thousands of pesos. It would just be gone, and they could not harvest it anymore, and it's just a huge loss for the farmers. And then
yeah,
their income is just gone. They just know, okay, the next 3-4 months, um, I expected a good harvest, and now I lost my investments. At the same time, where will I get money for the next harvest? It's very if you don't have the cash to like a safety net somehow, it's a very tricky business.
it is.
It's a cycle of being indebted. That's why a lot of farmers remain very poor.
Well, you guys, Mike, I mean, Aloe, my time is up, and I appreciate you guys sticking around and listening to us. We had a pretty good. We never talked about my topic, but maybe we'll do that next time. But Aloe,
Absolutely, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I hope
thank
you
you
will
for
remember
coming
my
on.
name by tomorrow again, right? I hope you will still remember my name by tomorrow.
What's your name?
Sorry?
What was your name?
You're cutting out there.
No, I forgot your name. What was your name?
Yeah, you're clever enough to know what I was referring to. That's good.
But Jason, he wants to know how old you are. He just asked again.
I think I answered that part before. I think I had. Do you remember how old I am, Kevin?
Yeah, but what was that your real age or was that a fictitious age? You said what,
No, that's
38?
actually yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good. I'm just checking if you still remember.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, and I don't drink no more. I haven't had a drink since 2014.
Are you not allowed to drink?
Oh
Oh, it's
yes, I
just not good.
wanted to, but I just went cold turkey and I quit.
Okay.
Uh,
What time is it over there right
it,
now?
it's 10:18 p.m. Friday night.
Ah, okay. Yeah. What's up for you for the weekend?
Well, we've been raining for the last 2 days, so hopefully, because I got to cut the grass in my yard. We have big driving lawnmowers, so we're gonna probably do that before we can look
Okay.
like
Yeah.
before we can play a couple of holes
Okay.
on the grass.
You know what? You should come over to Kwentong Baliw one time and have a chat with me and Dave. Let's do a show one time. Probably when he is back. Would be interesting to talk a little bit about this and that and so on and so forth. Would be
That
interesting. What do you
sounds
think?
pretty good.
Write it
I would
down.
even
I
have you
will
come
remind
back
you. I
again,
will
buddy.
remind you. Sorry?
I would even have you come back.
Okay, yeah, anytime, anytime.
What was your name again?
I don't know. I also forgot. Okay,
All right.
very
All right,
much.
you guys. Alan, do you have anything, your last words?
Right now I'm no. Everything seems to be okay. Just don't forget things, okay?
What's that?
Just don't forget things.
Forget what? It's not my birthday. Somebody said it was my birthday today on Barry's channel.
Your birthday is in
Somebody wished me
February,
happy
right?
birthday.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah. So
everybody.
I had to count. I had to count my fingers to see when my birthday was, and I'm missing. I'm missing two fingers. Well,
Okay,
Alan,
good.
Alan, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you guys listening. I had a pretty steady 10 people staying on.
Yeah.
So Mikey 550, Jason, Rendo. It was nice for you guys to come by. Master Tux. So yeah,
Yeah,
you guys.
don't get too emotional now, Big Kevin.
Well, if you know, I had I got this one guy, Mike, from he's from he's a Kiwi. He must have just came on and left. Grim was on. I think they left. Uh, Jim, yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on and giving me support. If you guys really want to give me support, you could check out my Patreon account and give me some love. That would be nice. There you are, Jim. Grim. Yeah, Mike, he left, I guess. But yeah, if you guys want to check out my Patreon, just go to my what do you call it? YouTube site in the where it says about me, and you guys could find out about my Patreon and my PayPal. All Mike, he's the one that give me. He's my first subscriber for my PayPal. He's my only subscriber to my PayPal. But if you guys have the urge, check it out. All money is good, big and little. Buy a shotgun. No, I can't talk. Yeah, that's Yeah, yeah. That'd be good, but maybe dreams do come true. But I have to say that I wouldn't wish no illness towards my brother-in-law because that's the good Christian attitude. You
Yeah,
know.
but that doesn't work out.
Well, but when I look in the mirror, I see the devil looking back at me. So, but
That's a
right
good thing.
now I'm
That's a
not
good
looking
thing.
in the mirror, so that's the good Christian part of me. Okay,
Yeah,
but when I look in the
yeah,
mirror, then I have real good thoughts. But you understand?
yeah. I do understand.
Okay, because I can't go out and say I wish something bad happened to him, and then if something bad happens, then people might say I had a hitman and go out there and talk to him. So I can't condone ill feelings towards him because anyway. But Grim's asking, how are you? Are you feeling better? I feel great, but sometimes I wake up during storms and typhoons. I get a black eye because I a blood vessel because of low pressure. I pop a blood vessel where I got hit inside my eye area, and
Uh,
I get bad headaches. That's why I'm taking medicine 3 times a day to get rid of the headaches. And I have like a bell ringing in my ears, like like when you take a hearing test and you hear that high pitch. That's what I hear in my head all the time. So but yeah, the medicine makes the pain go away. Um, I have bad toothache on my right hand side, but I don't have it. I don't have no toothache, but where I got hit, it says that I got a bad toothache, but it's not the toothache. It's really the headache that is taken in its place. So yeah, I get headaches all the time, but I get the state is helping me out quite a bit. I get good coverage, and then they give me money to live off of a little bit. But my aunt, my uncle, they are giving me real good support, so I'm pretty happy. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you guys later on. I appreciate you guys coming out. Cover your
You
head.
said that before, Kevin.
What's that? I
You
know.
said
Cover your head. Cover your head with the tin foil.
you forget that you
That was
appreciate
funny.
that they are coming out. You said that before, right? You know that you
Ah.
said that before. Maybe you forget that you said, I appreciate that you guys are coming out.
So, Master Texas said, "Cover your head with um, cover your head with tin foil, Kevin." If I won't have headaches. That was funny.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
yeah.
That was even funny in my comic book. All right, you guys. Again, thank you for coming out. And
I think you said that just before.
all right, Aloe. You guys, I'll
Okay,
talk to you
good.
guys later.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you, and I'll talk to you maybe Sunday. All right, you
Okay,
guys.
thanks, guys. Bye
Always be
bye.
safe. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
Yep.
bye bye.
Bye bye
Thanks.
now. Bye, Jason.
Uh, Kevin, wait a second.
All right.
Wait a second,
Well,
Kevin.
I could kill my broadcast, but we could talk.
No. Wait a second. Did you tell the guys that you thanked them for coming out already, or?
I don't remember. I'm just
Okay,
happy
it's
because
just let it be. Okay, yeah,
I'm
it's just
looking around and I'm going, who am I talking to? Because
okay. Good.
I don't hear no voices except you.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Good. Thanks. Thanks. Bye bye.
All right, buddy. See you later. I'm ending broadcast.